He's the go-to style guy for Hollywood A-listers like Eva Longoria, Terrence Howard, and Hugh Jackman. He's also a leading lifestyle expert and television personality with his hands in everything related to fashion.
And here to join us now is celebrity style guru, Robert Verde. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you, thank you.
So you are one of the most recognizable faces in fashion.
I love that you say that. You
walked
said that because you're my buddy.
I've walked down the street with you many times, and you've been stopped repeatedly.
But I think it's because
by all sorts of different people.
I'm tall, skinny-ish, and I have these glasses perched on my head, so it ends up being like easy to spot me.
No, you have a signature look, the sunglasses. We'll get to that.
That's what I think it is.
No, people have been watching you on television for years.
For a long time.
But is it true you started off working at ABC Carpet and Home?
I did.
So how did you make that leap?
I studied jewelry design at FIT. At the time, I was working in Bloomingdale's. Believe it or not, I worked for Bloomingdale's for 9 years. I had 20 years in retail, and then I moved to New York and I applied for jobs as a jewelry designer, as an apprentice, if you would. And the money was horrible. I couldn't even afford my really low rent in 25 years ago. So I had to find a job to make ends meet, and I started working at ABC Carpet and Home.
How much were you making back then?
Probably by 35 or 40 grand when I started.
Wow.
But that was probably an okay salary then.
Okay.
You know.
But you did so well there that people like Cynthia Rowley and Sandra Bernhard started calling upon you to help them zhuzh up their homes.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, before you knew it, you were being profiled in the New York Times style section.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How did that article change the course of your career?
That article really was the fuse that lit my career on fire, and it was extraordinary. I didn't know what would happen. It was kind of in a casual situation that article was born in a conversation with Marianne Rohrlich, who was a writer at the Times.
Absolutely. Very powerful writer
very
at the
powerful
time. And very tough. So for her to acknowledge you in that way was a huge deal.
Well, Sandra Bernhard, she had been working on a story about mini storage and all this is Marianne Rohrlich was working on a story about mini storage and all the crazy things people do in mini storage in New York, from teaching violin lessons to selling antiques. And Sandra Bernhard did a bit about her apartment and how it was filled with pillows, and that at night she put them in mini storage and put the nanny there with the baby because she had just had her baby. And it was kind of a joke, a tongue-in-cheek joke, but Marianne wanted to use it in her story, so she contacted ABC because Sandra in the act said, Robert Verde from ABC Carpet and Home decorated my home. So that's how she connected with me. She got to me and then asked me about myself, and then at the end of the lunch, I met with her for lunch so I could tell her the Sandra Bernhard home design story. And then she said, how would you like to be profiled in the New York Times? And I said, sure.
Wow. And since then, you've worked with everybody from Eva Longoria to Hugh Jackman, and with every different type of thing, not styling them, styling their home. But what was that first big break besides Sandra? Who else really set you up? Eva, really?
I was on E! Hosting the red carpet, and I was doing Fashion Police and met Eva. She was a big fan of a home design show I had done. And I walked on the set. We were profiling at that time. We were doing a series of pieces on the wardrobe closets of our favorite TV shows. It was the first season of Desperate Housewives. I walked on the set, and she screamed, and I had no idea. So everybody, like literally everybody, turns around, and I turn around, and we're like, "Who's she screaming at?"
And it was for you.
And it was for me. And I'm still like shocked. And so she came over and she's like, will you decorate my house? And I said, sure. She said, I didn't even buy one yet, but when I buy one, will you decorate it? I said, absolutely. And a friendship was born that day.
Okay, well, you mentioned being on the red carpet for your show, but when did you first start thinking about getting into television, and what did you do, or how did you make it a reality?
I never did. It was really that article that Lola mentioned. Yeah, television found me. They brought me on a regional show called Metro Home as a design expert, and it was hosted by comedian Susie Essman. And she and I had great chemistry.
Oh, yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
She's the one who curses all the time.
Exactly,
okay.
That's her. And so I went on the show, and then they brought me on weekly when they couldn't book guests. They'd bring me on all the time. And one day she came in the dressing room, in the green room, and she said, I think I asked you to host the show. You should totally do it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they did.
Wow.
Well, I'm not outing you. You are openly gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first.
I is what I is, as Paula Dean said. She's going to sue Pharrell and will.i.am. Paula I is a new collection of clothing.
I love it.
Paula I is.
But Robert, you were a real pioneer. I mean, there had been a few openly gay men on television, but before you, not many. And now you are ubiquitous, and people like you are ubiquitous. What do you make of that? And do you think, we've had a conversation about this.
Yes, we've had
do you
many
think
conversations.
that some of your peers traffic in stereotypes?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was willing. I think that for every generation of gay men, there are new rules. So what was true for me was not true for the generation before, and certainly not for the generation after mine, and so on and so forth. I think that there are templates that we follow in our culture. You know, there's a path that my sister, who's heterosexual, followed that's similar to my parents' path. But being openly gay on TV, it was just. I think that gay men were met with the right time in entertainment. That entertainment was really using the industries that we were very, very successful in, and bringing them and turning them into entertainment, home design and fashion. And we were always surrounded by celebrities. We didn't surround celebrities. They surrounded us.
And screamed at you on the red carpet.
Yeah, exactly. and that's how I think. That's how I think it happened. And I was just comfortable. I was done with, like, first of all, look at me. Can I hide? I mean, really? Like, it's not going to happen.
Well, everybody always recognized you right off from the sunglasses, like your trademark.
My trademark,
And now you have your own line.
Which was born of insecurity, incidentally.
Really?
Really? Why?
I was shooting. You guys work in TV. So I was shooting a Men on the Street segment, and I had my glasses on. And you can't actually do that. It's not friendly to the person you're interviewing. So my producer, who was with me on the street, started pointing at her head, meaning like take the glasses off, because I had them on. It was a sunny day, and I just pushed them up on my head and said, "I'm so sorry," to the person I was interviewing. I said, "I have to start that again," and continued the interview. And when we got back to cut the piece, we were pushing through the tape, and I said, "Wait, let me see that again." And she said, "That's not usable. You have the glasses on, and then you fidget and take them off, and then you start the interview." And I said, "I know, but I want to look at it." And I looked at it, and I said, "You know what I noticed? I look less bald." I was really insecure about being bald. I'm all skin. And so it just, like, I don't have a hairline. So it gave me something on my head.
And it's become
I like
the ultimate
it.
accessory
Right.
for you.
Yeah, it was totally in my insecurity that gave way to it, but it's become a mini empire for me.
And here you are. Well, we've got to put on these sunglasses.
Yes, these are
Now,
cheap
where
pairs.
can
These are
we
hot-
find these?
These are exclusively on HSN. They're hot off the press. They're all, and I'm gonna answer this in advance. There is a Lola coming. They're all named after friends of mine.
They feel
really?
good.
Yeah, that's
look
named
good.
after
That's very cool. Thank you.
That one's Terry, after our friend
Very
Terry
nice.
Higgins.
Oh, I love that.
This one
Terry
that you're wearing
Higgins, Wall
is-
Street Journal reporter.
Can you see-
Okay.
And can you see the case? It even has your trademark look on the case. With your head and your glasses
my head,
on your head.
Robert Verde's great head.
Love that.
There's a store I have to open.
Well, you know what? Please come back for Fashion Week.
I would love
you
to.
are divine. You must come back. You
Yes.
promise?
I will arise from the ashes of fashion.
Oh, I
On
love
Rise
it.
Entertainment 360, which you're watching right now.